When I was coming to Colombia, I felt like I will not be able to put my feet outside of our apartment without like getting robbed, trying to get kidnapped, and like getting scammed on every single corner.
Is Colombia too dangerous to visit?
The short answer is no, but let me explain. I went on all the websites, I went on Reddit. Thanks Reddit. Colombia is so dangerous, don't go there, don't travel, you're gonna get robbed, you're gonna get kidnapped. While reading all these people talking how dangerous it is, how you cannot take out your phone, you cannot take out your camera, I felt like I will not be able to put my feet outside of our apartment without like getting robbed, trying to get kidnapped, and like getting scammed on every single corner. Oh my gosh, I'm kidding,
What's up? Welcome to Colombia, y'all.
Just Marcel, you're fine. My anxiety was so high, I could not sleep. That's how stressed I was. I started considering should I cancel the entire trip. But we decided to come anyway, and I'm so happy we did, because this country, this place, these people here are absolutely amazing. We've been in Medellin for the last 3 months, and to be honest, not one time have we felt like we're in like serious danger and let's run away. However, there are some sketchy areas in the town that you should know about. The lady that was renting the apartment for us, she's like, make sure to not wear jewelry, make sure to not show off your stuff, no watches. So I was always taking off my Apple Watch because I'm like, I don't know, you know, like I kind of trying to feel out the area.
Yeah.
But like after a while, I'm like,
just like
obviously you don't want to be a target for pickpocketing, and you don't want to be a target for someone just like, oh, that person has money, you know? Everyone says, stay in El Poblado, go to El Poblado. Personally, El Poblado is for people who just go to party, and if you're coming for 3 days to like get lit, then stay there. Then from what locals told us, they don't even go there. So if you want real Colombian party experience, they told us go to Sabaneta, do not go to El Poblado, that's where tourists go. It's overpriced, it's overcrowded, and it's not really as safe as it is on these other neighborhoods, because all these people who may not have like good intentions know where tourists are.
Okay, so we're about to show you some places to avoid and some things that could happen there. But hear me out. That is in no way an indication not to go there. That would be like me showing you Skid Row and then you deciding not to go visit California. Colombia is amazing.
So Colombia is known for what?
Coffee.
Colombia is known for Pablo Escobar. We all saw Netflix show, wow, let's go to Colombia. Colombia is known for pretty girls, and Colombia is known for... Alright, 3 things that Colombia is very famous for, and what locals told us, it's not really dangerous as much for women right now as it can be for men. Not just any men, American men, for some reason. You come to the country, you come for the girls who are in the industry, exchange of goods for money.
Here's the scenario. This is how this happens. You're in the club, you're enjoying your drinks, you're having a good time, the music's, hitting just right. And a girl comes up to you, and you might not be able to tell if they're a sex worker or if they're just another girl on vacation who wants to have a good time at the bar with you.
Girls come and you're like, oh, she loves me, let me like buy her a drink or whatever, or she buys me a drink. Wow, that's so different than in US. Like, no girl would buy me a drink.
You think she's interested, but what she's really trying to do is take your money.
They literally gonna drag you, and they do that to rob you.
If you're passed out, there's no way for you to stop them from taking your wallet. The problem is, these people don't really know how to properly measure drugs into drinks.
So you overdose, and you really kind of gotta pay attention to your surroundings in El Poblado, even though they have some amazing restaurants there, I'm not gonna lie. And yes, you can get lit and you can go party all night in El Poblado. It doesn't matter if it's Tuesday, Wednesday, or Sunday.
If you're coming here for that, then just know that you're putting yourself in that kind of world.
Yeah. I mean, as a woman, we always have to be aware of that. So I feel like that just kind of comes without even saying.
Right.
However, it's like a serious thing here in Colombia and Medellin. There's a lot of information, and people are like, "Oh, another tourist killed in Medellin," and like that's literally how it happens.
Yeah.
So that's one of the dangers. Another one, here is not that good. If you want a good Colombian, you gotta get it outside of Colombia.
Right? So you have this awesome idea. Hey, let's go to Colombia and like do a bunch of drugs. So you and your friends get plane tickets to come to Colombia. It comes from here, so of course it's gonna be the best. You know?
Wow.
Surprise! You're gonna be very brokenhearted when you find out it's not that good here. Not from personal experience, but
Right.
here's why it's not gonna be so good. It's not a wealthy country. If they're making like a couple bucks a day, they don't have the disposable income for higher quality drugs. That being the case, the drug dealers sell their drugs to more wealthy countries. Drugs that make it to the streets here are gonna be like cut dozens of times. It goes from one hand to the next hand to the next hand, and everybody's trying to sell it at the highest price, but nobody wants to buy it for the highest price. So they gotta cut it and spread it.
And everyone loves to go and sell it to tourists because they come here, they think it's the best, so they cut it in the most amount of possible ways.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh yes, Colombia, and they're like, oh, yes, tourists.
Personally, is very cutted. So it's just for us to have, open conversations about reality, and that's how it is. So if you have the chance to tell others that it's not true that cocaine in Colombia is good quality, you can pass the word. It's horrible. Trust me. It's very, very bad and very cutted.
Now they know.
You have samples?
So yeah, very simple. Colombia is not dangerous.
I think it's also good to mention, we've never been in any dangerous situations, right?
No.
Have you
Nope.
seen any dangerous things? Okay.
But if you come here for the wrong reasons, it can be very dangerous, so pick wisely.
Yeah.
Another sketchy area in Medellin is Plaza Botero. Plaza Botero, and like in general, this whole downtown area, sketchy. It's my least favorite part of this town. I'm not gonna lie to you. We did go there on our own, and I was like, I don't know about this place. You have the whole plaza, and there is police everywhere around that already should tip you off that, they're there for a reason. They are there to protect tourists and people because it's a sketchy place. And the reason why it is because around the Plaza Botero there's like a center for homeless people. So all these people from city come to downtown area to get food, get shelter, and there is a lot of drugs there and a lot of crimes. People say like don't really come to this area, especially at night, because it might not end too well.
A lot of people will come really close to you and check out what you have. And
So,
just be on your guard.
For me personally, Plaza Botero once is enough. We did go another time with the free walking tour in Medellin, and you feel safer. You're in a group of people with a guide, local guide who knows kind of what's happening. So definitely recommend that because it's cool to see the area. However, on your own, it's like a little sketch. So if you want to go on your own and explore, make sure you don't bring valuable things. There are pickpocketers there, and they know what they're doing.
So pickpocketing is a risk. Sometimes they work with 3 or 4 people. Listen, one person blocks your progress, like getting some coins or whatever on the floor. A second person bends down to help and then grab your leg. So you get distracted because something is going on around your feet, When the person lifts the leg, gets exposed, the things. Then a third person takes out the phone and then passes it to a fourth person. And all of that happens in 2 seconds.
One guy came to Marcel and he was very pushy about that too.
Money, marca la esa papita. $1, coins, money, cash.
200, no tengo. I was offended that I didn't just give
He
him
was
money.
offended.
$1.
No, gracias.
Give me money, give me money, give me money. And
Yeah.
you were like, no, sorry. And he's like, And he was just standing there for a good amount of time. I'm like, that's weird. Like, what's the next move? Because he's not moving. Like, he's not taking no for an answer. I don't know if he has like 5 guys right there. Like, he said no to me. Let's just take his stuff.
Right.
We started off pretty strong with all those sketchy areas, and you're like, oh my god, it's scary. No, it's really not. I just told you about El Poblado. It's a little sketch. You'll be fine. Downtown is 100% sketch, but you still, if you like look at your things and surroundings, or go with the free walking tour, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
But also, I want you to really understand, you're totally fine. I absolutely love this city. It's full of amazing and beautiful people. Everyone's so nice. Everyone's so unbelievably nice that I cannot get over this. Like, whenever we go to the store, like, why are they so nice? We are staying in La America, which I absolutely love because it's not touristy. It's just locals everywhere, but it's really safe. Like, we had no concerns here. You walk the dog all the time.
Like after midnight and stuff.
Yeah.
No light. Some places have street lights. Some places don't. We just walk around. There's been no problems. Everyone's friendly. People walk around, just like say hi to you and stuff.
Yeah, you go to the ATM.
At late hours too.
Yeah, sometimes you go really late to the ATM, which I'm like, I don't know, but
there's no sketchy person outside. There's nothing like that in this area.
Yeah. There's little stores you can go shop. There's a little bar where you can go grab a beer at night. There's people just walking at night, women, men, children even. They're just walking around playing or walking the dog or just getting their steps for the day. Then there's Laureles, which honestly, if I was to recommend you a place to stay, that would be Laureles or La America, because there is a lot of restaurants, there is a lot of really good quality grocery stores, coffee places. Like, it's very walkable to all the places that you can see. Now, are there scams here? Now, I'm not gonna say there is no scams, because I bet there are scams. However, 3 months we spent in Colombia and Medellin, and we traveled to El Peñol, Jardín, Guatapé, Salento. Did we ever anything? I don't recall any situation where I feel scammed. The only thing is that I know that in Salento and in Guatapé, we've been charged a little bit more for taxi than you would in, like, if you were a local.
But it was like 10 pesos more.
No, like $3 more or something. Like,
I don't. Was that $3?
well, $3 more, which is totally fine.
I'll let it go.
Whatever. Like, I don't have any problem with that. Like, not cool, but sure.
A lot of places that I know of that are not here will have an English menu and then a local menu. And here we've gone to places where we'll look at the local menu and be like, oh, sorry, I can't read that, you know. And then they'll give us an English menu, and I've expected to see different prices. Have you noticed any different prices?
No.
That's really cool. I appreciate that.
No, there's nothing in the stores in like, we're in the local area. They could very easily take the advantage of us and charge us ridiculous prices for something. They never did. I feel like it's not their way of existing, and they don't see it as a tourists, let me grab money, you know.
It's so weird from other places we've been into.
It's so different.
It's refreshing.
It's really refreshing.
Yeah.
You just go around and you're like, oh, is this person trying to scam? Is this person trying?
What's your angle?
What's the scam you're pulling on? None of that. Absolutely not a single one time in any of those cities we traveled to did I felt that way.
Yeah.
Another thing that they don't do here that I really love and appreciate is, for example, you know how you walk past the souvenir stores or you walk past taxis and there's none of the like, hey amigo, taxi, amigo, taxi.
Yeah.
Oh, come buy my souvenir. None of that. They're just like, if you wanna, you go, you buy. If you don't wanna, you don't. If you want a taxi, you take a taxi. If you don't want a taxi, you don't take a taxi.
Right.
Absolutely love it. Oh, thank you, Colombia. Oh, it's such a like refreshing thing. Honestly, I really appreciate that. So, and that actually makes you wanna buy more and do more, and maybe I'll even take a taxi. You know, you don't know.
I have heard that people can get their phones stolen from cars if you're like on your phone and your window is down.
Yeah, be careful. So that's good. Very important thing to also pay attention to when you're in Colombia and Medellin. There is a lot of scooters around.
Oh yeah.
A lot of scooters. So
That's-
you never know who's the good guy on a scooter or bad guy on a scooter. When you drive in an Uber, your window is down. If you're like on your phone, maybe just pull that window up, because people can even on a stoplight, there's scooters stopping by you. They can just grab it and go, you know. We have never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
We have never felt in any type of situation like this. So to sum it up, are there scams here? I'm sure there are. We just were not exposed to it, which after 3 months, I feel like we would have a little bit a hang of scams. If you know of any scams that are like classic for Colombia or Medellin, drop it in the comments, because I can't, like...
Right. It's hard to find scams here.
Moving on. Is Comuna 13 dangerous? Now, what is Comuna 13?
I heard it's the most dangerous place on the planet.
Yep.
The most murders ever.
Yep, it used to be. Comuna 13 is the neighborhood in Medellin that used to be one of the most dangerous places in this world. Now, is Comuna 13 dangerous? I love this topic because before heading to Comuna, I was a little scared because everyone says it's fine, but I mean, how fine can it be if it was the most dangerous neighborhood? I think Comuna 13 was the most safe I felt in entire Medellin. It's amazing place with really hard history, and that's actually the place where you can learn a lot about Colombians, about what they overcame, about their values. We went with the tour where local guide, actual guys who live and were raised in Comuna 13, showed us around and told us the history of this place, and it's wild. I'm like out of words. Like, you have to go and do it yourself, and I would absolutely recommend you go with local guys who live in Comuna 13, and I'm gonna drop the link in the bio. Why is it wild? Because they went through such a terrible history, and it's very recent, and instead of going to drugs or going to I don't know, start killing more people or get a revenge, they're like, let's get education, let's change this place, let's make music, let's make art, let's make our money and make our community better this way, so that we can show it to the world, and so we can show our skills, we can show we can do things. And it's so inspiring and it's so beautiful. There's so many, the Comuna 13 is absolutely wonderful, and that's just one of comunas which was affected, and there's so many, and it's just inspiring in my opinion, and it's beautiful, and this place is great, and honestly there is the best arepas you're gonna ever have in this spot, because these arepas are just wild. Like, it's so good. But I would highly recommend you do the tour because it's really informative, and then you can go and walk on your own. It's really safe. There's absolutely no problems. It does get very touristy around 11-12, so if you want a little less touristy, 9 a.m. is perfect. If you want to see all the tourists and all the crowds, then 11-12. Noon, afternoon is perfect.
I would say Comuna 13 is best when there's all the people there, because that's what the place is about. All the art, all the bustle, all the like activity. That's when all the dancers are there.
Yes.
All the things are open and things are happening. Like,
you can do this whole day tour, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, whole day, not whole day, half day. Like, be there early, see it how it is when they're just opening, because they kind of open around 9 a.m. slowly. See how that all works and how it all comes to life after like 2 hours. It's totally different place, which is wild. Is it dangerous? Absolutely not.
No.
You have to go to Comuna 13, and you have to go with the guys that we did.
not like Medellin locals.
Yeah.
Comuna 13 locals. Those are the people that woke up in the middle of the night with like people taking their families away, which is heartbreaking. But like, they're the ones that are like building this place, and it's awesome what they've made. So definitely go with one of them. You can go with any other tour here, but you're gonna get the most out of the Comuna 13 people.
Yeah.
I want to talk about kids working. This isn't necessarily a safety thing, but something good for tourists to know. There are a lot of talented kids that like can rap, they can draw, and can do awesome things. They might approach you and they might say like, "Hey, can I rap for you?" You know, and if you say yes, then you're probably gonna end up tipping at the end. Even though they're child prodigies, don't accept. Here's what happens. They go out one day and they're like, "Yo, 1, 2, 3, 4, my name is..." I messed that up. So they go out and rap, and then a bunch of people like it, and then they give them money. Here's $100, you know, kiddo, and they get excited about that. And the next day, they have two choices. They could either go to school, or they can go outside and maybe get another $100. If the amount of tips that they get in one day is like great, they're not gonna have any motivation to go to school. They're gonna keep making that money. Medellin is making a large effort on educating their population because they understand that having an educated population is gonna make it better for everyone.
Yeah.
People that are local ask that you don't do that because they care about their youngsters and they care about the kids, they care about their future. For the grown-ups that you see that are trying to make some money, doing a little hustle, washing cars or like rapping on the buses, I think it's really cool because they're not pushy like they are in other countries. They're very like, "Hey, I have something cool that I could do. You want to see?" And then you can say yes or no. They don't just start like, "Here to, you know, get in your face.
I'll wash your window now, and if you don't pay me, you have no window." Okay, another thing, when you're in Medellin, you probably want to see Guatapé, you probably want to see El Peñol. Jardín should be very high on your list. Salento, a little far. Is it safe there? It's little places, it's little towns. Is it safe? Super safe. I'll put it that way. It's so safe. Every single place, I felt absolutely safe. The only thing to pay attention, they don't usually have Uber, so you might need like a driver. There are taxis, they have prices there in Jardín. They have tuk-tuks, which are awesome, and they also have prices listed, so nobody's trying to like take much more from you than they should. We do have some drivers informations for Guatapé and for Salento. If you're interested, you can just message me on Instagram, I'll share it with you. Oh, and I can also share the information for a tuk-tuk driver from Jardín, because he's the sweetest guy we have ever met. And if you're in Jardín and you need a tuk-tuk driver, hit me up. He's just so sweet. He's so sweet, the sweetest person ever. Here's some things you should know. Uber. Can I take Uber here? Is it expensive? Is it safe? Yes, you can take Uber here. It's very affordable. Rides, I don't think I ever paid more than $4.
So an Uber for about a 20-30 minute ride, only gonna cost you about $3.
Other than to the airport, it's around $30, $25, $30. But every other ride around the city and getting around, I don't think we paid ever more than $4.
These are like 20-minute rides. $3 is gonna be your average for if it's surging.
Yeah.
So if you're going with Uber, you're gonna wanna sit in the front. If there's just you, sit in the front. If it's you plus everybody else, somebody sits in the front. Because there's still a little bit of beef between Uber and the taxis. They haven't gotten that resolved yet. You probably aren't gonna be any danger, but if there is somebody right in the front, it's easier for those Ubers to be like, "Oh, I'm just driving friends around and you know, this is my buddy." I always give them a high five. I give them a big hug when I see them. I walk up to the Ubers, I'm like, "Oh, it's been ages, like, so good to see you." And that makes all the taxis like, okay, you guys can go. From what I've heard, there's not really any danger. However, as retaliation in the past, I've heard of some taxi drivers calling Ubers, getting the Uber driver out, and then burning the Uber car down. So,
but not a human.
Not a human. No, never the humans, just the cars. We don't want any problems with the Ubers, so.
Yeah, so they ask that you just sit, one person sits on the front. Yeah. You know, if you don't speak Spanish, you might not understand what they're asking of you, but that's That's what they mean. If they're
Yeah.
like, they
Something
want you
about
to
the front.
something about the front. They just want you to sit on the front.
Yeah.
Another thing I think is important to mention about the Ubers and cars in general, they don't really care about seatbelts much, so please don't ruin their ratings. That's literally a law. They don't have to. Just because we're used to that, it's not everywhere else in the world. You are required to wear seatbelt on the front, but not on the back. So a lot of times there's not gonna be a seatbelt, or it's not gonna work, or it's gonna be hidden. Since we're on Ubers, let's talk. Are Colombians driving like crazy? And here's the thing. A lot of Colombians that we talk to, they say, yeah, we drive like crazy, we don't know how to drive, and I'm like, I don't agree.
There's a big consensus that they're crazy drivers, but they have rules. Some of the rules just aren't followed all the time.
Yeah.
There's people that jump the gun when the light turns green.
Yeah.
There's some questionable merging.
Yeah. But
Maybe a little speeding.
yeah.
But there's not like wild driving.
Yeah.
It's not like a zoo where it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I made
Yeah.
a hump today. They're not that bad.
Continuing with driving, is taking a bus safe? Yes. We took a bus to Guatapé and we took a bus to Jardín. It's actually pretty cool. You can book it online with redbus.com. Tickets are pretty cheap, around $7 to $12, depending on the destination.
There's a couple bus stations. There's one in the north and one in the south. One in the south is next to the airport, the local airport that is not really used. And then the north one is in the north.
Wow.
Tons of companies that you can get your bus tickets from.
Yeah, but they all go to different places. Some drivers, they have questionable way of driving, but it's not as wild.
Some people were born with heavier feet than others, and going around the mountain curves
Yeah.
can feel a little bit like a roller coaster.
Yeah. Is drinking water safe in Medellin in Colombia? So we're in the region of Antioquia, and Antioquia people really take care of green water. They try to make things as clean and pretty and take care of things. I use water to cook from the sink. Marcel went as far as drinking water from
I
the
just
sink.
drink it straight from the sink, no problems.
Me being European, I don't understand even that concept, but that's wild to me. Water is supposed to be safe here in Antioquia. However, if you go to... Was it that funny?
Yeah.
However, if you go to Guatapé, Jardín, Salento, I would recommend do not drink that water because, you don't really know what the source of the water they get is from. So I would avoid that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But here in Medellin, water is totally safe. You can cook with it, you can brush your teeth with it, there's absolutely no issues. And if you're like Marcel here, you can also drink straight from the sink.
Hold your face up to the faucet and just...
Last thing I do want to talk about is ATMs. Is it safe? What to look out for, and some actual tips that you might need. I know a lot of people actually still travel and take out money in the country that they come from. Like you go exchange your cash and then you come here with Colombian pesos and you have enough money. You don't need that. You can use the ATM, and this is not sponsored and this is not an ad. This is the card we use and I absolutely love. This is a debit card with Charles Schwab, and I don't know if it's all over the world or is it just in US. I'm not sure. You would need to check it yourself. However, they give you money back for using ATMs, meaning if you go to ATM like we go here in Colombia, we go to ATM and we get charged ATM fees, and they're pretty high sometimes, few dollars.
This is 29,000 pesos.
29,000 pesos is this much. So that's the fee you get, and you can only take out like 600,000 pesos. So you are limited, so with each that transaction you get more and more charges, and Charles Schwab is actually giving you all that money back at the end of the month. So that's why I absolutely love this card. Everyone who travels frequently should get one, because it just makes sense. And another important thing while using ATMs, and not only here in Colombia but all over the world, always take out cash in the currency of the country you're currently in. And very important, always decline the conversion fee, because this will save you so much money You can thank me later. Make sure you're taking out money in the bank, not on some street. Do not exchange money in some questionable places. And do not maybe take out money in like sketchy areas, because there could be people hiding around the corner just waiting for someone to take money out. You want to avoid any troubles, so I would definitely avoid taking out money in questionable areas.
I like to take our money out from Bank of Colombia. There's other good ones.
Debit, very good. I like it.
And they have English too. Doesn't have to be like these particular brands, but what you're looking for is the conversion fee.
Yeah.
The conversion fee, and they even put it on the screen. They're like, we're gonna rip you off this much money if you accept it. Would you like to accept? And you're used to saying yes, because like, do you agree to the transaction fee? Yes. If not, then it cancels it.
Yeah.
So by the time you get to the conversion fee, I'm like, well, I better accept it, otherwise it's gonna cancel it. You don't have to accept that. You could just decline it. It's saying like, hey, do you want us to rip you off just like by 8.5%? If you take out like $300, you're like, sure, take,
so much
45
money.
bucks.
You're losing so much money by accepting the conversion fee. Do not do this.
This is everywhere, not just Colombia. So just a good tip for all of your travels. Decline that conversion fee.
There are some banks that we don't like and we do not want to go to that do not let you decline the conversion fee. Avoid them. So if you're doing the transaction, it's not even gonna show you decline or accept. It's just like, take out my money. Just decline, go to another bank, because they're gonna rip you off right there without even telling you how much for.
Yeah.
Charles Schwab, my absolutely favorite debit card for travel. Do yourself a favor and grab one. I will link it in the description. This was not sponsored. However, Charles Schwab, if you're watching this, maybe one day we can be friends.
So now that you know Colombia is safe, the next thing you're going to want to know is, what should I do on my vacation? Of course, we got you covered. We found you the most incredible things that you can't experience anywhere else in the world. Check this video out here so you can plan your vacation. Now go!
Grab yourself a ticket to Colombia. Have fun here. You're going to love it. And we'll see you somewhere else in the world.
Bye!
Bye!